What if I told you that in 1932, two men witnessed World War II before it even started? What if I told you they took photographs of a city being bombed 11 years before those bombs actually fell? And what if I told you that the government knew about it, buried the evidence, and hoped no one would ever ask questions? This isn't science fiction. This isn't a Hollywood movie. This is a true story of J. Bernard Hutton, a British journalist who accidentally broke through time itself and saw the future. And what he saw was so disturbing, so impossible, that it would haunt him for the rest of his life. Before we dive in, I need you to forget everything you think you know about time. Forget the clocks on your wall. Forget the calendar on your phone. Because what you're about to hear will shatter your understanding of reality. And here's the thing that should keep you up at night. If this happened to Hutton in 1932, then it could happen to you tomorrow, next week, right now. Time might not be the stable thing we've been told it is. It might be something far more dangerous. Stay with me, because this story will change everything you thought you knew about time, reality, and what our governments might be hiding from us. June 28, 1932. Hamburg, Germany. The sun is shining bright. The city is peaceful. World War II hasn't started yet. Most people don't even think there will be another war. The First World War was supposed to be the war to end all wars, right? Wrong. But in June 1932, nobody knows it yet. The Nazi Party is gaining power, but full-scale war still seems impossible. The horror that's coming is still hidden in the future. Or is it? J. Bernard Hutton is a respected British journalist. This is crucial. He's not some random person making up stories. He's a professional with a real reputation to protect. He's worked for major newspapers in London. He's interviewed politicians and military officers. He knows how journalism works. He knows the difference between facts and fantasy. And that's exactly why his story is so compelling. This is not a man who would risk his entire career on a lie. Hutton is in Hamburg with his photographer, a German man named Joachim Brandt. Joachim is also a seasoned professional. He's been taking photographs for newspapers for over a decade. He knows his equipment inside and out. These are two serious professionals on what should be a completely routine assignment. They're here to photograph the Hamburg shipyard for a British newspaper article. Simple work. Take some pictures of the ships being built, the massive cranes, the workers. Write a nice article. Collect a paycheck. Go home. They've both done this kind of thing 100 times before. The shipyard is impressive. Enormous steel vessels under construction. Workers everywhere hammering metal plates. The clang of metal on metal echoes across the docks. Cranes tower overhead like mechanical giants. The smell is distinctive. Salt water mixing with hot metal, engine oil, and welding fumes. It's the smell of industry, the smell of progress. Joachim sets up his camera carefully on a tripod. He's particular about these things. He adjusts the angle, checks the light. Perfect photography conditions. The ships look powerful, majestic. These photographs will look great. Hutton is standing nearby, making notes in his leather notebook, thinking about how he'll write the article, maybe thinking about lunch, maybe wondering if they'll finish early enough to grab a German beer before heading back. It's just another day at work. Until it isn't. Hutton describes what happens next as the most terrifying experience of his entire life. And remember, this is a man who lived through both world wars. He'd seen combat. He'd been in dangerous situations. But nothing prepared him for what happened that afternoon in Hamburg. He says it felt like someone flipped a switch in reality itself. The sun disappears. Not gradually. Instantly. 1 second, bright sunshine. The next second, complete darkness. The sky goes black. Not dark gray. Black. Pure black. Like someone turned off the lights in reality itself. Hutton's first thought is eclipse. But he knows that doesn't make sense. Eclipses don't work like this. They don't turn the world pitch black in a fraction of a second. This is completely wrong. Every instinct in his body is screaming that something impossible is happening. The air feels different too. Heavier. Electric. The hair on his arms stands up. There's pressure in his ears. Time itself feels wrong. He can't quite put it into words, but he knows something fundamental has shifted. And then he hears it. A sound that doesn't belong in 1932. The deep, throaty roar of airplane engines. Not one or two planes. Dozens of them. Hundreds of them. The sound is so loud it vibrates in his chest. He can feel it in his bones. It's the sound of bombers, military aircraft, flying in formation. And they're close. Very close. Hutton looks up, and his blood turns to ice. The black sky is filled with aircraft. Hundreds of them. Bombers. He recognizes them instantly as military aircraft, even though these specific models don't exist yet in 1932. Years later, he'll see these exact planes in photographs and recognize them immediately. British bombers. Aircraft that won't be designed for another decade. But here they are, filling the sky, flying in perfect military formation, and they're dropping bombs. On Hamburg, on the shipyard, on everything. The world explodes. The ground shakes violently. The first bombs hit with massive explosions. Fire erupts, enormous fireballs. Buildings explode, not just damaged, completely obliterated. 1 second they're standing. The next second they're gone, replaced by fire and smoke and debris. The heat hits him like a physical force. Intense, searing. Even from a distance, his skin burns. The smell changes instantly. Burning oil, burning wood, burning rubber. The acrid smell of high explosives. Smoke everywhere. Thick black smoke that burns his lungs. The noise is beyond description. Each explosion is like the end of the world. The screech of tearing metal. The crash of collapsing buildings. The roar of fire. It's hell. This is what total destruction looks like. This is death on an industrial scale. And here's the part that makes it even more impossible. There are no people, no workers running, no sirens wailing, no anti-aircraft guns firing back, no searchlights, no panic, just Hutton and Brandt, standing alone in the middle of a bombing raid that doesn't exist. That can't exist. That won't exist for another 11 years. The ships are now twisted metal skeletons, glowing red-hot, collapsing into the harbor. The cranes are toppling. The warehouses are infernos. Everything is burning. Everything is being destroyed with terrifying efficiency. This is strategic bombing. Maximum damage. Joachim, operating on pure instinct, raises his camera with shaking hands. His professional training kicks in. Document everything. His hands are trembling, but he manages. Click. The shutter opens and closes. Click. Another photograph. Click. He's photographing the impossible. Buildings exploding. Steel melting. Smoke rising. The future. He's photographing the future. Hutton finally finds his voice. He screams over the roar. We need to get out of here. Now! They run. These aren't young men, but they run like their lives depend on it. The air is thick with smoke. It burns their lungs. The heat is overwhelming. They stumble, fall, get back up, keep running, away from the destruction, away from the impossible. And then, just as suddenly as it started, it stops. The roar fades. The explosions cease. Complete silence. The fires vanish. The smoke disappears. The black sky dissolves. The sun comes back. Warm, bright, peaceful. They stop running, gasping for air, hearts hammering. Slowly, they turn around. The shipyard is completely intact. No damage. No fires. No smoke. Workers are still at their stations, hammering away, completely unaware. Cranes are still moving. The harbor is calm. It's a beautiful afternoon. Nothing is wrong. Except Hutton and Brandt are soaked with sweat, gasping, their hands shaking. They look at each other. Joachim's face is white. His eyes are wide with shock. No words. What can you say? Did we both just see that? Are we losing our minds? They stumble to their car in silence. The drive back feels surreal. The streets of Hamburg are normal. People shopping, kids playing, cafes full of people laughing. Nobody else experienced what they just experienced. Back at the hotel, Joachim goes straight to his equipment. He has to know, if the camera captured what they saw, then it was real. If not, they're both insane. His hands shake as he develops the film. Hutton chain smokes, pacing the room, trying to find a rational explanation. Maybe it was gas. Poison gas causing hallucinations. But they were outside in open air. Maybe heat stroke. But both of them at the same time seeing the exact same thing? That doesn't happen. The minutes drag. Finally, Joaquim hangs the negatives to dry. Images. Something was captured. He makes prints as fast as he can. The first print emerges. Then another. Hutton walks over. And there it is. Proof. The shipyard in flames. Buildings exploding. Massive smoke columns. Destruction. Total destruction. The detail is incredible. Individual debris. Texture of smoke. Fires burning. The camera doesn't lie. Joaquim Brandt photographed the future. They have physical evidence of something that hasn't happened yet. Something that won't happen for 11 years. Hutton tries to publish the photos the next week. He returns to London, goes to his editor, lays out the photographs. The editor studies them, confused. Hutton, what is this? Hamburg in ruins? But there's no war. We're at peace. Hutton explains. The darkness, the bombers, the destruction. The editor looks at him like he's crazy. You witness an air raid? Hutton, are you feeling all right? These photos are clearly a mistake. Double exposure, a developing error. We cannot publish photographs of a German city being destroyed when we're at peace. This could cause international incidents. Other newspapers say the same thing. Too bizarre, too dangerous. Nobody will touch it. Hutton's reputation suffers. People whisper, he's losing it. The stress got to him. Maybe he needs to retire. So Hutton puts the photographs in a drawer, locks them away, stops talking about it. Nobody believes him anyway. He tries to move on. But at night, he wakes up hearing those bombers. The sound is burned into his memory. It haunts him. Every night. For years. He starts to doubt himself. Maybe everyone is right. Maybe he had a breakdown. Maybe the photographs are camera malfunction. Maybe his memory is playing tricks. The human mind is unreliable. Maybe he's just crazy. But then 1943 arrives. World War II is raging. And in late July 1943, the British Royal Air Force launches Operation Gamara. The target, Hamburg. The bombing runs for 8 days and 7 nights. It's one of the most devastating aerial campaigns in the war. Thousands of tons of bombs. The fires create a firestorm. Winds of 150 miles per hour. Temperatures reaching 1,500 degrees. Entire neighborhoods vanished. Tens of thousands dead. Some estimates say 40,000 people died. And the shipyard? Ground zero. Completely destroyed. Exactly like Hutton saw it. Exactly like the photographs from 1932. Not similar. Identical. The same buildings. The same fire patterns. The same smoke. 11 years later. Down to the smallest detail. When Hutton sees the newsreels, his world collapses. He can't breathe. He has to leave the cinema. Gets outside. Leans against the wall. Shaking. He goes home. Opens that drawer. Takes out the 1932 photographs. Gets the newspaper with the 1943 photos. Lays them side by side. Stares for hours. His hand shaking. Tears running down his face. He's not crazy. He saw the future. It really happened. And now it's come true exactly as he witnessed it. But now comes a disturbing question. How? Was it really time travel? Or something else? Something darker involving government secrets and military experiments? Consider this. It's 1932. Germany is secretly rebuilding its military. Hitler is rising. War is coming. Intelligence agencies are working overtime. What if someone already knew the war was coming? Not suspected it. Knew it. What if someone had already planned Operation Gamara in 1932? I know that sounds like conspiracy theory, but let's look at facts. Governments conduct secret experiments. The Manhattan Project was completely secret. Thousands working on it. Public had no idea. The Tuskegee experiments. MK Ultra. Operation Northwoods. These aren't theories. These are documented facts hidden for decades. So is it a stretch to think that in 1932, someone was testing something? Maybe projection technology, advanced systems, maybe a simulation of the planned Hamburg bombing. What if Hutton stumbled into a classified military test? What if he witnessed a practice run for an operation 11 years away? But how would they project that in 1932, the technology didn't exist? Or did it? Nikola Tesla was conducting experiments with electromagnetic fields and wireless energy. Some of his research was confiscated when he died and remains classified today. What was in those papers? What did Tesla discover that the government doesn't want us to know? And the photographs? Joachim's camera captured real light, real destruction. Film captures actual photons bouncing off objects. You can't fake that. Even today with CGI, it would be difficult. In 1932, impossible, unless the destruction was real. But from when? Some researchers propose temporal echoes. The theory, major traumatic events can leave imprints on time itself. The 1943 bombing was so intense that it echoed backward. Maybe Hamburg in 1932 and 1943 overlapped for a few minutes. Maybe there are weak spots in time where past and future bleed through. Sounds insane, right? Except quantum physics says time might not work how we think. At the quantum level, particles can exist in multiple states simultaneously. They can be entangled across vast distances, affecting each other instantly. Some physicists believe past, present, and future might all exist at once. We just experience them sequentially, because that's how our brains work. If true, then maybe under certain conditions, the barrier between time periods breaks down. Maybe Hutton found a weak spot. Maybe he was caught in a temporal overlap. But let's go back to the conspiracy angle. After Hutton tried to publish in 1932, his reputation was destroyed. Systematically, people who respected him suddenly questioned his credibility. Editors who trusted him now treated him like a joke. It happened fast, suspiciously fast. If Hutton really saw the future, that's incredibly sensitive information. If a story gained traction, it could cause panic, damage relations, reveal military plans already in motion. What if intelligence agencies decided to discredit him, make him look like a lunatic, so nobody will believe him? We know governments have done this to whistleblowers. And here's something strange. After the war, Hutton showed his photographs to military historians and government officials. They all said the same thing. Interesting, but unprovable. They acknowledged the photos were authentic, but refused to investigate further. Why? What were they afraid of finding? Maybe Hutton wasn't the only one. Maybe there were other incidents. Other people who saw things they shouldn't. Maybe there's a classified file somewhere that explains what happened. A file we'll never see. What if it wasn't an accident? What if someone deliberately sent Hutton there? If you're developing time manipulation technology, you need to test it. What better test than making someone observe a future event? And if something goes wrong, just discredit the witness. Problem solved. We know both Nazis and Allies were developing impossible-seeming weapons. Jet engines, ballistic missiles, nuclear weapons. The Nazi belt allegedly could manipulate gravity and possibly time. Most dismiss it as myth, but the stories persist. What if there was something to it? What if by 1932, someone had figured out how to punch holes in time? Imagine the strategic advantage. You could see what your enemy would do before they did it. You could plan attacks with perfect precision. You'd be unstoppable. That technology would be worth any price. And if it existed, it would be the most closely guarded secret in history. More secret than nukes. Because whoever controls time controls everything. Now, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever experienced déjà vu? That feeling you've lived this moment before? Most people have. Scientists call it a memory glitch. But what if it's not? What if it's a brief glimpse of the future bleeding into the present? What if we all have the ability to see through time, but our brains filter it out? Think about premonitions. How many times have you thought about someone right before they called? Had a bad feeling that came true? Dreamed something that happened? We call these coincidences. But what if they're glimpses? Brief moments when your consciousness touches the future? Throughout history, there have been prophets, seers, oracles. We dismiss them as frauds. But What if some were real? What if some people naturally perceive time non-linearly, not through magic, but through some aspect of human consciousness we don't understand yet? And if it's real, governments would want to suppress it. If people could see the future, they'd be harder to control. They'd see through lies and propaganda. They'd know when politicians were leading them into disaster. Knowledge is power, and seeing the future would be ultimate power, ultimate threat to those who want control. Maybe that's why stories like Hutton's get buried, not because they're false, but because they're true, and that truth is dangerous. If ordinary people realized they could access future information, it would change everything. The power structure would collapse. That's terrifying people in power. So they discredit, they mock, and most people go along because it's easier to believe the official story than question reality itself. But Hutton's story proves time is not what we think. Something impossible happened. Two men witnessed an event 11 years early. They photographed it. The evidence exists. And if it happened once, it can happen again. Maybe it's happening constantly, and we don't notice. Maybe time is always shifting, folding, overlapping. Maybe the universe is far less stable than we believe. Maybe any of us could slip through time tomorrow, without warning, just suddenly ripped out of our own time and thrown somewhere else. That's the nightmare here. Not just that time travel might be possible, but that it might be beyond our control. That reality itself might be unreliable. We build our lives assuming cause comes before effect. But what if that's wrong? What if time is fluid, changeable, dangerous? Hutton lived with that knowledge until he died in 1978, still haunted by what he'd seen. He never got answers, but he never stopped believing it was real. The evidence was too strong. The photographs still exist today in archives, studied by researchers who remain baffled. Every analysis comes back the same. They're genuine. Real film exposed in 1932, showing destruction from 1943. Others have similar stories. Air Marshal Victor Goddard, who flew over an abandoned airfield in 1935 and saw it fully operational with planes that wouldn't exist for years. The women at Versailles, who walked into Marie Antoinette's time. The man in Times Square from the 1890s who vanished. Are all these lies or evidence of something real? If Hutton's story is true, if time can be broken or manipulated, then the future isn't set in stone. He saw 1943 from 1932, but could have been changed if people had believed him. Could they have prevented the bombing? Saved those 40,000 lives? That's the cruel paradox. If you see the future and change it, your vision was wrong. If it's correct, you can't change it. Hutton was trapped in that paradox for 11 years, knowing what was coming, unable to stop it. The weight must have been crushing. But his story is also proof of something extraordinary. Human consciousness is more powerful than we've been taught. Our minds can perceive reality beyond normal time. We're not just biological machines. We're something more that can, under the right conditions, break free from linear time constraints. And that's incredible. If Hutton could see through time, maybe we all can. Maybe we need to stop dismissing our intuitions, premonitions, déjà vu as coincidence. Maybe we need to pay attention, document our experiences, trust that strange feeling when we know something before it happens. Imagine what humanity could accomplish if we could all access even a fraction of what Hutton experienced. We could avoid disasters, make better decisions, see consequences before taking actions. That's potential within reach if we're willing to explore it seriously. But that requires courage. Courage to question everything we've been told about reality, to investigate experiences science can't explain, to risk being called crazy for pursuing truth. Hutton had that courage. He told his story despite the ridicule, despite the mockery, because it was true and truth matters. So I'm asking you directly, do you believe Hutton? Do you think he saw the future? Have you experienced something similar? A moment when time felt wrong? When you knew something before you should? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share your experiences. Let's have a real conversation instead of dismissing this. If this story challenged your assumptions, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's had strange experiences. Someone who questions official narratives. Someone brave enough to consider the universe might be stranger than we've been taught. Subscribe, because we're just getting started. There are hundreds of stories like this buried and dismissed. We're going to uncover them all, ask the hard questions, follow the evidence wherever it leads, even uncomfortable truths about what governments hide. The truth is out there, and it's stranger than Hollywood imagines. Time is not what you think. Reality is not what you've been told. People like Hutton show us the impossible happens every day. We just need courage to look. Stay curious. Stay skeptical. Question everything. Trust your experiences over what authorities tell you. Stay open to the possibility the universe is far more mysterious than any textbook admits. Because we're all time travelers, moving through the fourth dimension at 1 second per second. But maybe under the right conditions, we can move differently. Maybe the controls are inside us. We just haven't figured out how to use them yet. Hutton figured it out by accident in Hamburg in 1932. His story proves time is not the prison we think it is. It's something we can potentially navigate, explore, even master, if we're brave enough to try. Thanks for watching. The future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed yet. Maybe you'll be next to find a crack in time. And when you do, tell us about it. See you in the next one. Or maybe I already saw you there. Who knows anymore?